get picked up by the next big one. Seven definitely going to have the more majority of fans there in the audience, despite the long-standing history of MVP as an organization. But we'll start things off here on Control Center. One fact, looking for the Roadhog. So going to be the triple tank with that Reinhardt from MVP.
Triple tank with Yaki on the Tracer, a unique version of this round. He's going to be using the normal Sombra one. So this is not actually the Panthera quad tank with Zarya, but actually has a lot more mobility, can pick off supports, can threaten the backline.
Well, not only that, but if Tuba can get in behind the Reinhardt there on the hack onto Oberon, that's exactly what I was about to say. If that hack, the Reinhardt is basically useless, just has to swing around wildly with the hammer. Tuba gonna jump to the side, he's down to 20 HP, and Fuse hounds him down, finds that kill. Tries to set up for MVP to get the first cap here onto the point. Fight's not done yet. Fire Strike comes through. Oberon still standing here by himself. Pulse Bomb out, gonna get a bit of damage in, but no kill there for Yuno yet. And Friesman knocked out the back and taken down there by one fact. So already still MVP space trading up. They're gonna have the majority of ultimates now. With Echo going down, they will be able to get that initial cap.
Hacks don't matter on the Reinhardt if you have unlimited healing from the Moira, and that's basically what we saw here. Undyne just keeping him topped up because the hack doesn't last forever. It's obviously going to be harder in more contested fights when Moira runs out of life-to-play healing when her cooldown is up, but right now she's building it back up to normalcy here, was able to heal through the hack. They just had more sustainability as a result. Now let's see if they play around the EMP. Oh, look at this.
Oh, that's going to be the pulse bomb into the back,
sauce.
finds a stick, and that's going to be Mika going down. Was able to jump away from the rest of his teammates to not deliver them
Look at the
to death as well, but they are shoving them all the way back towards the dropship. MVP space with this triple tank composition looking absolutely dominant so far.
Look at how they gatekeep the Sombra out as well. They're not all stacked up like Panthera was when they were running a similar comp. Notice the supports are further away. It's not a six-man stack up here on the doorway. Only the tanks would actually get hit by an EMP, and Undyne could, of course, heal through that as long as she continues to be in the back line there.
Oh, Tuba's dipping around the back. He's going to find several members. Cannot get the Lucio, however, so that's going to be the sound barrier coming in for Fuse. That perfect placement on that Lucio yet again does shine through. Self-destruct. Not going to be finding any kills as Seven tries to push in to get the flip. 65% just about here for the side of MVP. Fuse is going to go down as Echo burned that primal rage, but they need much more than that to take this point. With Oberon going down, however, no shield to stand behind, so it seems like they will be able to get it. Now moving up, nearly 70% gains there for MVP space. They still have multiple ultimates to utilize, including that coalescence.
Yeah,
to try to take this back.
It's going to be, they just wanted to let this go because the EMP actually came from a different angle than they expected. They got a bit blindsided by it. It was a really cool play by Tuba. And so as a result, they had to kind of let this go. They saved the Coalescence and the Earth Shatter, which could both be fantastic for retaking a point if they can get an angle. That's why I like this Yaki on the Tracer. He's going to try to draw the focus away. Doesn't get the stick here, but he's allowing them to approach the point. They've gotten in already.
Yeah, got shaken up under that pressure being applied there by Yuno. We're on looking for the Fire Strike, doesn't find it. Coalescence comes down, they're hunting for Revenge, who goes low. Earth Shatter comes down, Transcendence is in time, but the pin manages to find the Tracer. Oberon now going to kite back over here onto the point, swinging away, looking for the hits there. Onto Evo, the sound barrier comes through to the side of Seven. They're going to find Bianca and Oberon to start off this fight to try to gain control back. MVP managed to get the flip. They're now gaining 20% off of that one, and it's on Seven to try to regain control.
That was so good by Revenge, just understanding that that was going to be the moment that Shatter came down, gets his Transcendence off. They're going to have to look for a faster flip, though.
EMP is ready. Oberon's still just sitting there behind the shield, tries to get the hack here onto Undyne. Manages to find it. The flip's looking like it's going to come through here for Seven in OT. MVP space, they know that they have a decent amount of time to try to build up for some more ultimates, getting the sound barrier and the coalescence here.
Would love
Might
to
be
see,
enough.
Would love to see Tuba take a defensive stance here to prevent the flanks from Yaki, rather than trying to flank an EMP. Oh man, he doesn't even see him!
Doesn't pay attention. Tuba just wildly caught off guard as Yaki sneaks right into the back now. He's going to be looking for the pick here on a Revenge. Sound barrier out from MVP space. Everyone charging forward. Mika, Revenge, both going down. Tuba just now coming back up, does have the EMP. We'll see if he can make it in time to try to turn the tide of the fight. Free uses the self-destruct, gets back into the back. Another coalescence comes down from MVP space as they look for the retake. Seven are getting deadly close towards that overtime mark to try to match, but no one's on the point right now. It's getting taken. They have to push in, but Oberon tries to shut them down. The Earth Shatter finds multiple, gets the pin there on the Mika to take him down, and Freeze knocked out of the back yet again. They Have the flip. Seven trying to take this one back, but MVP do not want to relent. EMP comes through. Oberon still swinging away. He's still topped up for the moment. Goes low. Healing from Undyne not going to be enough. And Seven still will be losing this one by the look of things as they just try to buy some time. Sound barrier out from Mika. He's the only one here. He'll get hooked in. He'll get taken down. They buy enough space with the self-destruct. And Control Center goes the way of MVP.
Very much a failure to understand by Seven what MVP was trying to accomplish with this composition. It was not fully quad tank. They had Yaki on the Tracer, an adaptation from what we saw from Kongu Panthera on this very map. He was threatening the backline non-stop, but the only thing Seven could focus on was maximizing EMP value. That's why we saw Tuba up there get pulse bombed on the high ground, because all he was thinking about was, where do I toss my translocator? He was not thinking about peeling against the Tracer play. He was not thinking about protecting the support so that the tanks couldn't get onto that point. They flipped the point without killing anybody that second time at 60% because no one could prevent them from walking on the point when Yaki was harassing. And Tuba was just one-track mind about the EMP, gets pulse there. So that was the most egregious moment, of course, but I think Seven just needs to play a little bit more defensively to protect the backline with their Sombra so that the tanks just can't get onto the point in moments like this.
Well, now we have Gardens coming through, so One Fact is going to be operating on the boosted Widowmaker. Seven sitting inside the hut at the moment. Don't want to give any sightlines over to One Fact. Not going to get spotted out, tries to jump back immediately. Manages to do so, can't get the hack off.
Well, everyone remembers MVP Space's series against the Foxes where One Fact was not effective on the Widow. Let's see if he can change that reputation tonight. Gets a really quick visor here.
Has that one ready to go, but everyone's just pushing forward. You can see the D.Va playing right up here onto the bridge, trying to deny those shots coming through, and with Oberon and Bianca knocked out of the mech. Which means Seven can very easily hold this point for now, so they start ticking up.
Really good play around the line of sight, and just honestly very patient play as well. Despite the fact that One Fact did a lot of damage, just couldn't get picks there. And over-aggression by Bianca there to try to demech free. Ends up losing that, demeching himself, staggering.
Lessons comes down to revenge. Soundbearer's ready to go, and the defense matrix just chews up that pulse bomb. You know, still gonna get punished there by One Fact, and Yaki's gonna get moved off the side. Mika keeping them in the fight. Sound barrier in. Hack comes down onto Oberon, but I think he's perfectly fine with this for the moment. Not going to be under any immediate threat now. Throws down the bubble, locks that. Self-destruct comes back down and is just getting pocketed up there by Fuse, but needs to try to flip this point. 45% going up for Seven. MVP Space, very few ultimates to deal with. Another Infrasight in a minute. Self-destruct on the way, but other than that, pretty much nil. Tuba gets the EMP down. Yaki goes 4 HP, gets pitched there from Yudo by the side, and it's a double kill for Mika. The boot coming through, knocks off Bianca, knocks off One Fact. He takes him down in 7. Yep. Just crushing here on Gardens.
Just some cleanup kills. They're not the impressive boop. Don't be fooled by the kill feed fans at home. They were jumping off anyways. But the pulse bomb grab there, actually, when came in to try to pulse was fantastic. That was a really great moment. Just wanted to highlight that one for Bianca, who's had a pretty lackluster performance on the D.Va thus far. But not enough to save them here as they're losing these longer fights.
Back cap's coming through. Seven's got to get over to the point. Deny this one coming in. Oberon jumps up as the pulse bomb comes down, keeping his teammates safe, but he will fall. In the meantime, Hughes finds the double kill. Bianca going to get knocked out of the mech free as well. Uses Jad as the baby D.Va finds the kill there, and MVP will be able to get this flip just before OT comes in. A bit late there, you would have to say, from Evo with this Primal Rage. Once they get the flip back, once they get some kills with this, as Yaki falls down about half HP. Does have that pulse ready to go. We'll see if he needs to use it to take down the enemy. Once he goes up, doesn't make it to the ground. Yaki finds him with that final melee hit, follows up for a double onto Revenge. Now looking for Mika. They'll manage to get that one with the help of Undyne. Seven are falling apart here as they reapproach. They were able to get the flip just to force the OT. So MVP gains control yet again.
Worst part about this is they committed the Primal Rage and they fought hard for it when it was a losing battle, so uncharacteristically uncoordinated were Seven. And they just fed an EMP to One Fact. He was nowhere near it, but now that he has, they basically fed this fight to him. He actually has this to open up the defense.
He's right behind them here on the bridge. Going to be looking for it. Hasn't dropped it yet, doesn't feel the need. Oberon's a bit too overextended there, but Fuse finds a double kill this time around. Mika and Revenge both going down. Oberon traded out for Evo, but Seven losing out on both their healers instantly does stop this push. They still have time. It's only 44% here for MVP Space, but look at the ults that they have available. EMP, Sound Barrier, and the tanks ready to go.
Now, this is really great coordination by MVP Space, saving their ultimates. One fact again, waiting for better opportunity here on the bridge to EMP. Gets a good angle. This one might be the one.
Perfect. Locks them down, catches everybody there on the bridge. Snowmember's going to be going low, including Revenge. He'll be the swamp there on the Moiras to start things off. But Seven very much going to be losing out on the fight. The rest of them trying to retreat safely or just jumping off the map to get back faster. 75 now. MVP Space just keeps buying themselves more and more time.
There's so many ultimates on the side of Seven, though, because they were EMP, they couldn't use them, but they didn't lose them. So the EMP could be the opener. They also have that Sound Barrier for the longer fight. Here we go. Sound Barrier used first for Seven. That gives an advantage to Space in terms of their barrier.
Sound Barrier's in. Self-destruct tossed out by Bianca. Gets back into the mech, and now Tuba has to jump to the side, but he's going to get taken down. Cannot use the EMP. Can MVP Space capitalize? They have the Coalescence going through. Find the kill on the free. Oberon falls, and now it's all out hell breaking loose here onto the point. Undyne just trying to spam away, trying to keep his tanks alive while maintaining essence here. Can't keep Bianca in the mech. He'll get popped out. Fuse goes down. Undyne joins him. Seven will be getting the flip, and maybe they can just go ahead and take Gardens.
Positional mistakes here from MVP Space allows Seven to regain control of this point too, but may never even need to use that EMP against the third map. There it is. But the really cool play there by Fuse, he actually saved his Sound Barrier for the better timing and was able to counteract a lot of the damage there after they were able to kill Tuba while he was trying to set up for that EMP. But it was Revenge and Evo who controlled the ground when the positioning was bad there for Space. Fuse was so far away from the EMP zone that he was going to be able to get the Sound Barrier up safely no matter what, but for the same reason, he was not able to provide a ton of healing after that and was very shortly afterwards picked off alone. This has been a pretty impressive series, though, on Control by MVP Space thus far. One fact is going to go back to this McCree, who's had much more success on than any other hit scan hero with the Moira. So less mobility here for MVP Space as they operate around the McCree.
Plenty of people that he can lock down instantly there with that flashbang. Big dives coming in from Seven, however, they're just chasing MVP right over to the choke by their spawn. As you know, spams away, trying to get built up for that pulse bomb. Back gonna go low, gets healed right back up. First healing coming through from the Moira, helping to keep him in the fight. He'll take down the enemy Tracer as Free goes out of the mech. And Seven, looks like they're gonna be losing out on this initial cap yet again.
A really impressive dive from Seven, but they were about 20 hit points away from killing One Fact, who I think actually got the health pack there, plus all the healing to survive.
Yeah, that actually would make more sense.
And he basically, I mean, he was being healed like crazy, and he stepped on that health pack over there on the side. And Free actually avoided, or sorry, ate his flashbang, but it still just wasn't good enough to kill him.
He's got a Deadeye already set to go. Getting him into a big boosted position to actually use this on the point is a bit more difficult, but now they're charging through. On the side of Seven, they get rid of Bianca off the bat. Free's gonna get knocked out of the mech. He can go slow. Deadeye comes through, and Evo from the side. That throws down that bubble to deny. Finish him off. Yaki jumping out, a short hop to the side, goes back over towards the spawn to keep himself alive, as you know, goes low. Undyne trying to right-click him to death, but cannot finish him off. This means it's going to be a pretty fast flip here on the point.
One Fact's going to switch. He made a fairly novice mistake there that we've seen from a lot of McCree players that don't play a ton of McCree but are just starting to get into it, where he basically tried to flank to get a Deadeye. You can never operate around that against a Tracer somewhere. You're going to get killed while you're alone. Your flank isn't worth it. He gets punished.
You know, he's just going to go ahead and die, but Lee might have killed himself with his own pulse bomb. Right as that Sound Barrier came through from Mika. Revenge trying to get closer and closer to that Coalescence. They're trying to keep the numbers topped up, but Free will get knocked out of the mech all the same and cannot use that self-destruct in time to try to get back in. Coalescence from Undyne also takes down Evo. Revenge commits his, despite the fight being lost early from the side of Seven. Now they're just going to get cleaned up. Now they don't have any support ultimates, and taking this point back where they can't even see the initial percentage of MVP Space is going to be that much more difficult.
Looks like mobility is better here for One Fact. This makes more sense for his free play style just to have this hero back with the mobility. He can look for flanks now because they have control at this point. Looks like he just wants to fight Free though, straight up.
Pulses in, finds the stick. Bit of damage there, coming through on the free, but doesn't find the kill, doesn't find the pop out there onto the mech to force the pilot. Primal Rage from Oberon, manages to find Tuba, denying that EMP even further, stopping him from building that one up. Bianca gonna get moved out of his mech by Free. As they continue to trade back and forth, Self-Destruct goes up into the air, not gonna be finding any picks, but Free can make it back into the mech. So they try to get over in onto the point to get this flip coming through. Evo pops the Primal Rage, but hasn't found any kills so far. One back goes low, keeps himself alive. Now the Coalescence comes in, burns him low, and the Rockets take down Oberon. Yaki, however, gets the hack here on the Free, starts spamming away, has the EMP ready to go onto the point, drops it in, on top of so many members, with the Coalescence piling in on top. MVP Space looking to hold this all the way through for the victory. Sound barrier out from Mika, only catches 3. The flip comes through. 7 have control for the moment, but for how long is hard to say. Calls here from one back, tries to throw that down, but the Defense Matrix is there in time. They'll just take a nice little ride off the side of the map.
Free mitigating so much of that damage, building up already 77% of another self-destruct after that fight. Very well played. Despite the amazing EMP there wasn't a follow-up. We do see the switch of one fact, of course, onto the Reaper now. This is the 3rd hero he's played on this map. Very difficult to actually approach a point like this, though. He wants to tank plus Free's aggressive playstyle, but very risky here. They're really going to have to escort him. They're going to use the sound barrier to get him in.
And will come down, and Yuno's already been taken out. There's no EMP, so there's no worry about the shields being denied away, so MVP Space can go ahead and pile in. One back uses the Wraith form, comes back in again. This is not going to be the new buffed up Reaper. This is still going to be the older one. He tries to make this work. Evo goes down, though. MVP Space start getting closer and closer to getting that cap. 5 members on strong, no one from 7 to contest. They'll get this flip. 7 have to get in. They have to get the flip and hold it all the way through. Otherwise, they're going to be losing this first map.
It's going to be so difficult to actually force this to happen. Coalescence is going to open up the fight, but one back's just going to avoid it here. He's the great tank buster in this situation, and they're just gate kept at the moment.
They tag into the point now. Oberon here with the Primal Rage, trying to get the knockoffs here onto the map. They chase down. They look for Tuba. They deny that EMP yet again. He was 13% away. Now not going to have it, and Evo died right at the start. Free gets knocked out of the mech, and I think MVP Space have done it. They're pulling off the upset here on Lijiang, trying to get this win away from 7. No 0-4 for them here today. They will go ahead and start this series off with a win.
Very impressive stuff from One Fact, understanding when to switch heroes. It was such a gamble to switch to the Reaper there at the end, forcing him onto the point using the sound barrier, and the amp it up speed boost from Lucio got him where he needed to be, and they were able to take the fight. After that, they just kept him protected with the Moira healing, and always it was 7 who had to come to him. There was never going to be time to build up ultimates to push in because they were looking at 91% when they got the capture, so had to dive in straight away. When they did, they were getting kept by not only the Reaper burst damage on the tanks, but the Coalescence into the choke there. Very quick thinking here by MVP Space, very risky. But, you know, risk pay off when it works out like this. They had the sound barrier to force him into that point, knowing, as you said, there was no EMP on the other side available. We are going to have the swap of Bazzi back in. This is not because had 2 suicide pulse bombs on that map, but because we're headed to hybrid as our map type now, where Bazzi has shined and has been a strong Widow player. So,
well, to be fair, it might have something to do with the suicide pulse bombs.
I mean, they would have subbed him in either way, though.
Yes, Bazzi was the anticipated sub in here over so I'm just giving him a little bit of flack for those mistakes. We've seen a couple tracers mess that up so far here during this tournament, but nothing compares to killing yourself in traffic on City Center. That was a big blunder there.
Yeah, that happened, but I don't know. I mean, literally. This is now becoming a position, like I said, where you have your Widow player, who's usually the long-range hit scan. Even One Fact is playing Widow now. He's not a good Widow, but he's understanding the new position and the role. But let's see what the composition is going to be, as I'm getting some audio issues in my headset. I don't know if you're getting those as well, Seth. But
quite all right.
Anyway.
We'll work through it.
Yeah.
It's all good.
So let's see how they utilize Bazzi and what point we're going to. We've seen a lot of Hollywood for 7. That's where Bazzi has historically had his most successful runs.
Well, for now, while we wait for the players to get set up here in the audience, we'll just take a look at some of the fan signs here. Some 7 fans, of course, going to be the predominant demographic here in the audience as far as cheering is concerned. But nice little Widowmaker coming in. I'm assuming this is a Bazzi.
Yep.
Bazzi cheerful for him. So makes sense.
Says you can't hide from Bazzi. No one can hide from Bazzi.
It's true. No one can hide from pretty much any Widowmaker as long as she has Inversight, to be fair. Not just a Bazzi exclusive. Yeah. That would be pretty unbalanced.
Well, I actually don't understand this. I think it's like some slang I don't understand.
Something for 7. I don't know. That's all I could get out of it.
Here are the friends that will no longer be friends after tonight's match.
I mean, there's a chance that they could go 2-2 and just have the tiebreaker, and then maybe they can salvage the friendship.
Hey, well, I mean, only if they walk out after the 4th map and don't watch the tiebreaker.
If it's a 4-0, then it's definitely that's definitely when your friendship can get broken up. But since MVP got that first win, I don't think we're gonna have a 4-0 on either side.
Nope. 7. Let's go to victory. And this is Pudidang fighting.
I don't know what that.
I don't know exactly what that's referring to, but
well, they're fighting and they're crying.
Yeah.
So there you have it.
All right.
Assuming that these are family members.
Yeah, probably Freeze family.
So
if I had to guess, or maybe just like some older Overwatch fans that like Freeze.
Hey man, you never know. They could be. We got you know, people of all ages that are into Overwatch.
Some good drawings.
I mean, look at Doa. He's into Overwatch. He's an old man.
Yeah. There's also a Zenyatta main.
That's a pretty good drawing.
Yeah. It says, "I'll crush your head."
That's pretty violent, but it's a good drawing as well.
Well, given Revenge's aggressive nature on the Zenyatta, I imagine that's pretty realistic expectations. Just coming, she basically quit her job and quit work to come here.
I hope that means that she got out. She took off early rather than actually quitting your job. That's pretty
tough to know for sure. I give up on this one. This one's too long. It's gonna go away.
It's okay. She's got another one. She came prepared. She's got multiple signs ready to go. Maybe she's batting for both teams here.
This is a Yubin fan. Yubin is our
okay,
our announcer.
Nice sign there for the host. But yeah, I mean, this is kind of go ahead and diverge away from the signs here for the moment. As it seems like we will be ready to get into the next map. This
Hollywood, surprise! I
was gonna say it's a surprising start for MVP, but Hollywood coming through from 7 is not going to be much of a shock for pretty much anybody that's been watching this team so far.
Yeah. So the sub Bazzi in, and they send us to Hollywood. This is a very textbook choice for 7. And maps that have been given to them many times as well when they win Control, because they are undefeated in terms of their play in Contenders. They have lost Control maps in Trials. They're 10-3. 11-3 is what they were looking for tonight. They're going to find themselves 10-4 after the loss to MVP Space. Their first loss of Control this season. They're going to go to their comfort pick map here. See if MVP Space can continue the flexibility with One Fact to see if he can shut down the Widow by other means, because trying to out-Widow Bazzi with One Fact is not going to be an effective strategy. You have to think here Achilios just has so far been a pretty big challenge, especially when you're on defense here. Bazzi going to have those better sight lines. It's going to be on the high ground. I'm going to have to find better ways to deal with that than just trying to out-Widow the Widow who's in better position than you are when you're One Fact, one of the worst Widows in this tournament.
Definitely not the thing that you want to be called. That's a pretty unfortunate little marker there of your ability. The Vans hanging in there despite the pretty big upset on that Control loss. But see how they bounce back as they get ready to go for their attack here on Hollywood. Kick things off in about 10 seconds. One Fact going to be on the Soldier 76. No Widowmaker, no Junkrat, no Orisa on this defense. This is one of those ones that's it's got a little bit more sustainability. It can't just crumble off the bat, but if the Soldier gets picked,
it's his 4th.
That's when it can be pretty bad.
It's his 4th hero of the night in terms of DPS. Yaki now flexing onto the Tracer. No Sombra. Very much a lot of sustainability, though, with Undyne on the Ana, and he is a fantastic Ana player. So, going to be difficult to break. Probably going to be some ult building here before they can actually accomplish it. Look at the positioning here of Bianca, so he can actually peel up towards the Soldier, leaving his boost available. One Fact has that healing.
He's going to get jumped on, and he's just going to get taken down. Trying to get the helix off, takes a bit of damage there from himself. Mika and Revenge will be traded out, but it's still going to be 7 come out on top here. Push around the corner. Oberon just desperately trying to wait for that health pack to come back in, but it's not going to be there in time. Rock gets down as everyone chases through here onto Yaki. He grabs the Mega Pack, but he can't get back onto the point. Tuba is able to cut him down, so a very swift cap comes through. So 7 will have a massive amount of time here in the bank as they move onto the street space.
If I had to guess, I would say that it was pretty likely that the biotic grenade that never hit was actually eaten by the D.Va. So there's not a lot of healing coming through there in that choke point. I think that was Freeze. Big win. They were able to get the kill onto Undyne early as well. So regardless of what happened with that biotic grenade, he died, could not provide the healing that was required to keep One Fact alive. He is going to, now he's on defense, run the Widow. No problems with this. But he's still going to have a tough time against Bazzi.
Well,
if he gets line of sight, which in this case he did not.
He's always giving him the cast and curse there, Wolf.
Well, I mean, this is obviously Bazzi trying to fight the uphill battle here. And he is the better Widow, but you know, we've seen Ons, Bazzi, many other Widows, Climax try to fight this uphill battle and cost their team valuable time. I have faith that Bazzi could do it. He's going to get protected here by the tanks. Try to get line of sight.
He's going to get jumped on here. Primal Rage, Winston comes in. Trouble comes out, and Tuba getting shut down by the sleep dart. Undyne, putting him in the grave. Biotic grenade straight into the solo kill. Tuba is going to be feeling pretty bad about that one because now the ultimate's been wasted. You can see, look at that. The PM, you just sit still, says, yeah, do what you can at Evo, because it's not going to be enough. I have friends surrounding me. You cannot kill me.
Well, Bazzi's getting some line of sights available now, though, as they use this Primal Rage, sorry, this Nano Boost a little bit sloppily here. So despite the shutdown on the Blade, 7 still gets into prime position. Bazzi finally gets sight lines here to actually do massive damage. And now, One Fact is going to find himself fighting uphill against the Widow here. And it's not going to be easy. Might be kind of a preview of what we might see later on when we switch sides when MVP Space is on the attack.
Well, Revenge, he's trying to poke out with the right clicks, but he's taken down there by One Fact. Finishes him off. 3 going to drop down onto the low ground, looking to take down Oberon, who does have that Primal Rage ready to go. One Fact losing to Bazzi yet again. Started things off quite nicely, but it's been falling short ever since then. And now Yaki is also going to be paying the ultimate price. Res used by Fuse just to bring the Widow back into the battle, but I'm not sure how much good that's going to do because One Fact needs to be hitting more shots in onto the likes of Mika and Revenge. So far has not been able to do so. Primal Rage comes in, Bazzi jumps to the high ground. It seems like that might have been
a waste. Primal Rage, yeah, I would agree with you on that one. That was very silly. In fact, I would even go as far as to say that was Primal alone with no teammates there, discorded, immediately shoved away.
Bomb out from Yaki, doesn't find anything, and Fuse is going to get taken down. Mika, pretty bloodthirsty as a Lucio so far here today in this series, despite the first map loss. Tuba building up for that next Dragon Blade. Can't get the kill there onto Undyne, but he'll still get taken out by his teammates, which means that that's going to be the completion here onto point B. And now it's 4 minutes on the clock for 7 as they push into the studio.
If you had questions, as I did, about the coordination of MVP Space with this roster throughout the season, let's look no further than plays like this with Oberon coming in with the Primal Rage while the rest of his team is dead. He's speeding ult charge. Tuba's got another Dragon Blade. Bazzi's almost up to another infra sight here. And they just could not contest the point. They bought maybe 10 seconds of time, but it's just not worth it when you could actually get snowballed here.
Sight coming in. Bazzi just getting that point blank shot here on to the Winston. Trying to take him low. Grapple hook zips him away right at the last possible second as Yaki just takes down a sleeping Mika. Question coming through. Trying to play very far forward to build up for the Dragon Blade, which Chupa still has in the inventory. Be halfway there so far. But this has to be a pretty crazy defense from MVP Space, given the time bank that 7 has been able to amass.
And the fact that they've been unable to prevent sightlines for Bazzi. This is the first time they actually really get on the backline there with One Fact on the Tracer now.
Well, you can have sightlines if you can't see, just blow him up. The pulse bomb is One Fact's thinking. Let's take him down and actually forces Bazzi back over onto the Tracer. Self-destruct, finds Fuse, Transcendence out from Undyne as MVP Space tries to occupy space here around this payload. Tuba goes in with another Dragon Blade, but yet again gets shut down, not by a sleep dart, but by the efforts of MVP Space as a whole. They take him out That 7 on the other hand, however, still will be finding success, still will be charging forward just a couple meters away, getting ready to enter that VIP spot. Then a boost comes down here onto Oberon, nearly has the Primal Rage ready to go to buy more time here for his squad. Has it set, jumps in, pops it immediately, and is going to be looking for the Zenyatta. Revenge goes low, manages to get that Transcendence right in the last second, and Yaki, he is also going to die as he pulls out the blade. Tuba goes forward, finds Fuse, Undyne, the Soul Healer left alive here for the side of MVP. As we see that self-destruct come in, Bianca trying to find a pick, but just can't do it. Bazzi takes down Undyne, goes low, 2 HP, gets the recall off, but only gains back up to 40 HP. He'll get cut down by one pack. It's still 2 minutes here on the clock as that pulse comes in. He'll get the knockout onto Free. I think 7 is gonna have to go ahead, maybe try to regroup, but they're still pushing forward despite the fact they don't have a D.Va in the mech.
This has been finally MVP Space playing to their strengths, putting one fact on this Tracer, where he's strong at, finding those backline picks, stopping the Widow.
Transcendence out, Tuba gonna be completely denied. Has not been able to get a single good Dragon Blade so far. Finally gets a kill with one, but it's only on the Yaki, and I don't know if that is gonna be the difference. Bianca popped out, Bazzi back onto the Widow, as you were saying. Looking for the shots, finds the body hit there onto Fuse, that helps take him down, now takes out one fact, jumps to the side, and the rest of the squad there from 7 will be able to get the completion here on Hollywood.
Playing to their strengths finally there at the end. When you know you are not the better Widow, play your best hero that allows you to dive the Widow, harass the Widow, put yourself in the Tracer shoes, and get back there and harass the supports, harass the Widow who has no sustainability to speak up. It's not like you're dealing with long-range Soldier 76 on the attack or anything like that. You're dealing with a hero that, if given good line of sight and given the angle to do massive damage to your weak tank line, over on a Bianca in this case, with some lack of coordination, you're going to have more trouble with the Widow trying to outplay when your tanks are your tanks are losing the tank war, their tanks are on top of you, and you're trying to out-Widow a Widowmaker who's better than you. You're going to have a hard time, but when you switch to the Tracer, you go back to your comfort pick here, you're going to find more success, and that's what they did to get those picks to slow down the push, but the late switch, unfortunately, was just too much time for for 7 to push through. They had the large time bank there that were eventually able to regain control. And I actually do really want to give a lot of credit to Free on that first dive in there to kill the Soldier. A lot of that was his missiles, his defense matrix, and maybe would have been looking at a different time bank if he wasn't able to just immediately kill one fact Soldier right at the first push.
Yeah, it's one of those things that really can just bring that defense crumbling down. The Soldier 76 has to be there for the consistent damage. The sprint, the biofield, it's great and all, but it's just not as much, you know, you're not as slippery as a Winston who can just leap over to the side. You're not as slippery as a Tracer who has to recall to go back up to full HP. So losing out onto that Soldier 76 costs them dearly. Indeed. One fact is hovering it here at the moment, but I'd be very surprised to see him actually run this forward, but seems like he might.
Well, it can help you win out a tank battle if they're looking for a defense with the Torbjorn as well. You can sometimes help burst down the shields with that to give your tanks opportunities to push. You have more sustainability. You have a half healer here basically with this. You're going to take a defensive setup now. He actually heals up. This is kind of a mistake by 7 potentially here to commit this far forward. Tuba,
he's going to go very, very low, and he'll get taken down. Doesn't have the translocator available, and now that's 3 members dead on the side of 7. Let's go ahead and make it 5, just about as Bazzi comes back up. And MVP Space looking to also have a very significant time bank here. As they start capping on A, Free will go around the backside, delay for a little bit here, trying to build up for the rest of the squad to make their way in, but the boop comes through, they knock him off the point, and 7 will just lose that one. 5:45 on the clock for MVP.
They had the extra healing coming through from one fact, and he was able to help keep everybody alive, do a lot of extra damage to the tanks. The dive there, the death of Bazzi at the beginning of the fight meant that Tuba wasn't going to be able to do much. That was just 7 just kind of underestimating MVP Space, in my opinion, there, is what their comp was going to be able to accomplish. They didn't know it was a Soldier 76, and then they paid dearly for not knowing that, for that lack of information.
Well, they're trying to go ahead and regain control over the cart right now at the choke. Evo leaps in, trying to build up for that Primal Rage. Bazzi going low, looks like he recalls to get the top back up and manages to take down Undyne. Doesn't have this recall yet, but I'd love to get that kill there onto one fact, but can't do it. But for now, it's still going to be 7. Trying to command the cart. Self-destruct going to be forced out here from Bianca as he tries to make it back into the mech. Has the protection here. One fact now with attack visor. Flips to the side. Finds Mika Free. Out of the mech yet again. They can just go ahead and start pushing forward.
I love the defensive style we're seeing from MVP Space. They're basically countering the dive by playing passively, not wasting their cooldowns, playing safe, using the heal for the Soldier 76. Only when the dive comes through, he's getting the Discord orbs coming through to do that extra damage. They're basically shutting down 7 whenever they come in aggressively. And because 7 keeps throwing themselves on the point, they have an ult advantage. The D-Max on the D.Va gives the opportunity for attack visors. This is a really good setup here for MVP Space.
Coming in as the Pulse ready to go, but can't find a target on the high ground, so he'll go ahead and drop back down. Evo in the primal range, manages to get rid of one back, eliminating that pesky Soldier 76, and Bianca, well, pretty screwed. We'll just get knocked out of the back, and they can just leave him be. In that baby form, force him to choose between firing off with the pistol to try to get it back, or even swapping and losing out on all of that ult charge.
Yeah, I think he was at around 30 or so, so, you know, I think he's probably just going to switch. Yeah.
That's pretty significant unless you're like Choi Gilvin.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's still significant. He has to walk back to the spawn, too. I mean, it's very annoying. Okay, so Bazzi, this is why they picked this map. They want to have Bazzi up on this high ground here in our Hollywood Streets phase. He's going to be able to threaten the line of sight.
Oh, doesn't have to use the EMP, actually, to take down Undyne. That's going to be a very short and quick way to just shut down the push here from MVP Space. Buy some more time off that clock. Nice headshot in onto Oberon, followed up with a body shot.
Notice this angle where OneFact can't see him. He can't actually get into a position. Now he has, but it's been too late, and he's shown himself. So it's really cool. Bazzi just abusing the information, knowing where OneFact is, and then putting himself out of a line of sight of OneFact while putting himself into LOS of his opponents, the tanks, the supports there. Really well played by Bazzi, really understanding this Widow versus Widow matchup. Obviously getting that headshot there, just going to stagger the respawns even further for MVP Space.
I mean, Bazzi playing Widow just looks like a top 500 smurfing in silver.
Feels like it
doesn't really matter who he's going up against. He just always makes them look like a bit of a fool. He'll force OneFact all the way back over to the other side of point A, so he's going to have to get top back up, so he'll be out of the fight here for a while. So just go ahead, station up inside one of the buildings. Evo's zapping away. He only has another primal range ready to go to match that of Oberon's. He'll go up on to the high ground here and just wait.
There's not really a great way to deal with Bazzi at the moment except out-widowing him. And he's putting himself in harm's way, actually, with these kind of plays.
He's going to go low. He's actually going to take it down. Oberon came around the backside there with Yaki. And they, with their power combined, they can go ahead and eliminate the enemy Widow. Now Orb taking down Free. Revenge uses the Transcendence here to try to come back into the fight to try to turn this one around for 7, but he's going to get taken out by that Pulse Bomb. Very well timed by Yaki. Chasing onto Evo as he goes low. Doesn't want to have to commit the primal range. Wants to be able to feed some healing over to Mika and Revenge as they come back in, trying to get that coalescence. But for now, Payload will be moving up rapidly here for the side of MVP Space.
Bazzi trying to kill OneFact with that leap actually cost them this entire push in this point. He came up trying to get the kill, ended up falling down onto a Tracer, got completely obliterated, put himself out of any range to do damage. He basically suicided, and then the point was pushed. 7 unable to recontest anymore. That's going to be the capture. So I feel like perhaps a little bit of greed, a little bit of showboating cost them big here, actually, in this defensive point B. Now he's getting picked again by Yaki, who's constantly finding his mark. It's tougher to use the Widowmaker here on defense than it is when you have that massive lead in terms of vision, where you have that high ground and you have the gate to look through. So Bazzi with that one mistake gives MVP Space huge opportunity. They capitalize on it very well. Yaki is always threatening this Widow here. Tuba's holding this forever.
Yeah, he's got this one ready to go. He's looking for a decent angle. We'll just go ahead and toss that one in. He's got 4 members, including Oberon, who does not have that primal range ready to go, but seems like he might be able to get it up in time. Pulse Bomb here onto Evo, even with the primal range, means that he is going to be a prime target there for OneFact. Just go ahead and snipe him out. They'll be rounding this final corner. A little less than a minute here to match the time set up by 7. They still try to hold on to this, and you can see the Bazzi.
He's dead again to the Tracer.
Get taken down.
Yaki really just keeping his mark on him here. 7 needs to actually get re-coordinated into a better position. Trying to snipe from here is just so difficult right now. You're at point-blank range. Looking for picks. They do open this up, though, with Free. Self-destruct. Finally gets an angle.
OneFact yet again. Starting to pop off a little bit here with the Widowmaker. Gets rid of Mika. Bianca brought back in here by Fuse, and Evo is dead. Payload still moving up just in front of the parking spot now as Bazzi is alone in the back of this point. Firing away, trying to trade this one in. Gets that primal range. Winston chasing him down, the Tracer as well, pushing forward. looking for an angle. He's got to find some shots, and he's got to do it soon. Sees the Mercy, can't get the hit. Now the Tracer jumping in on top of him yet again. Body shot onto the Mercy, another one. Fuse goes low, but one back finds the hit, and Bazzy's out. I think it's time to swap. Tuba uses that EMP. Bazzy gonna be res back in, and Evo's gonna die right before he gets that Primal Rage. Halo's been halted here for the moment, and there's a minute remaining. But MVP Space still looking pretty strong here on this push to try to get the completion. That's all they really want in the end, and getting those shots on the Bazzy is how you do it.
Evo's got this Primal Rage. He's just going to try to force this into an overtime here. He wants to hold this as long as he can. He's pocketed by Miko right now. Here's the Rage.
Oh, but he's got to dodge out onto that self-destruct. Comes back in, can't deny the remake. He goes low, jumps over the side, and he's going to get taken down. Undyne finds the kill. Bazzy will go ahead and get rid of the enemy Zenyatta right before he can get that Transcendence available. But it's 3.81 meters left to go, and all of 7 is just getting ripped apart. Mika now desperately trying to swap over to the Mei, but it's not going to be fast enough. Completion will be there for the side of MVP. They get it right at the end.
MVP Space was really able to finally put the heavy pressure onto Bazzy. It's not a Widow matchup. Bazzy can't walk out of the spawn door when Yaki's constantly harassing him. They're getting consistent dive there. And I agree with you. I think if the switching would have been more effective, switching to, for example, a McCree with Discord Orbs could have helped mitigate the tanks coming through, because what MVP Space were able to understand was that full line of sight was given to One Fact, and they were staggering the tanks nonstop because 7 had to keep throwing them out there to prevent the push from coming through. So there was never a pressure on One Fact ever. And the only time we ever got to see almost a shot come through there onto One Fact from Bazzy, he was actually lost the fight because there was so much pressure on him. I think to the layman watching those first-person views of Bazzy, they might think, I thought these guys were hyping him up as a good Widow, but the reality is, there's a difference between mechanical skill and trying to play on super hard mode, where you're not only looking for headshots, but also avoiding dive coming through from the Winston, coming through from the Tracer. You're discorded, you've got a low health pool, you're struggling to get out of spawn, and trying to get headshots. You know, mistakes will be made in those chaotic moments. And MVP Space just kept the stagger going, kept that pressure on, kept forcing the respawns there. And can't make the argument yet that One Fact's the better Widow, but he was the more successful Widow because of the pressure from Yaki and Oberon.
Well, MVP now charging forward, just have this 1 minute to try to get as much work done as they possibly can, and they're operating with the quad tank, with the Zarya here from Yaki. Start pushing forward, looking to poke out here onto Evo. Barrier comes down, Oberon swinging away. Broke up to 27%, but Undyne's going to be the first one taken out. Charge comes in, finds the pin. Mika's eliminated, and now it's all on revenge here. Try to keep the members topped up. Evo going down. Hammer swing comes in, and Oberon finds the hit. Maybe this could be the cap here. On to point A, with just a minute on the clock. MVP Space looking to make this happen.
Bianca doesn't get DMAC'd either. That's so huge for Undyne's healing. He's just going to burst up to 60%.
Man. They can go a ways.
Yeah, oh, they definitely can. They're going to have an ult advantage. They're going to have an Earth Shadow. They will soon have a Graviton, and they're about to fight into this archway as well, where Graviton is so powerful. 7 needs to be careful not to feed too much charge here to Yaki, who's just looking for stray targets to build it at the moment. Bazzy's going to have to play the Tracer. There's no room to run Widow against this tank composition right now.
This is what could shut it down. This EMP here from Tuba. He's going to poke around the side, looking for the hack. Drops the shield there from Oberon. Now everyone's going to be pretty exposed, so they all pile in on top of that Sombra. Self-destruct out from the tree. Not going to be finding anything as he makes it back into the back, and Evo has to go up. Comes back down, 20 HP. He's going to be eliminated. Tuba throws in that EMP, but there's no kills being found for the side of 7. In fact, they are the ones just getting absolutely slaughtered by MVP. They still have their ultimates.
This is going to be a huge push. This is going to be a huge push here now. 7 has no tools to shut this down anymore. Tuba cannot be dying. He needs to just be building EMPs here.
Oh, he's
being stopped by this defense matrix.
We're going to see the remake. Self-destruct does come through. Bianca trying to make it back in, but Revenge actually shuts it down. That's going to be a huge pickoff here for the side of 7, but now they need to take a fight. The Graviton is ready to go. Gets it. No defense matrix to stop that one coming in. The pulse bomb takes down Fuse, but the whole hog gets rid of 3. Transcendence comes in. A bit too late there for Revenge. The fight still looking like it might be able to be taken by 7. Another EMP out from Tuba, shuts down Yaki. Starts around the corner, trying to stay alive, just getting those right clicks in. They're trying to take down Mika, gets them in the end. But too many members of MVP are off the cart, and they will get that ulted. But already getting 1.5 pushes Looking
really
very good for the side of MVP, better than they could have hoped for.
Really important is that charge onto Mika, where they eliminated the Lucio player at the beginning and then built so much ult charge there. Also the protection coming through to make sure that we didn't see the D-Mech there onto Bianca. Him surviving meant that they built a coalescence. He was able to mitigate the rest of the damage coming through. They get that point captured. He was very low on the D, but survives. The angle there for the Graviton Surge was perfect too. At first, we saw Yaki trying to just D-Mech free before dropping it, but then just saw that there was a slight movement of D.Va's focus away, and he just dropped it right onto the payload there, outside of the hitbox of the defense matrix, pulled everybody in. Fight still didn't go their way because it was a losing battle there once they lost 2 of their tanks. And the whole hog was doing damage, but wasn't able to control any area there. And obviously this composition isn't used very often because in more wide open spaces it becomes less effective. You get picked off. But very terrifying now for Seven, who had such a large advantage in terms of time bank. Now they've got a large push ahead of them. 86.45 is the stop time. They're going to be running regular dive. They've got more time to do it. It's less risky to do this than to run in a quad tank composition, given that they have the larger time bank. They have the opportunity to build blades. And let's see if they can burst one fact again. Last time that was the story here. Free coming in there, preventing some of that healing.
I mean, it's larger, but not by much. Gonna be a minute 50 there. Yaki gonna die off the bat though. Already we've seen these initial point A defenses from both sides have been very weak. MVP Space would love to turn this one around here for themselves as Tuba goes dangerously low, but has not been taken out yet. Fuse is able to finish him off, but Undyne, one fact, died over on joining them as they hound down there on to Fuse. So another very fast cap here for Seven with just over a minute on the clock. Go just past 86.45 meters in order to get this.
Very well played. Bad's gonna switch to the Widow. One fact's already there to match him though. He's been seen by the Zenyatta. They'll still think he's gonna keep going with it. Looking for the jump up kill here. Predicting that Bazzi would take the risk, as he did actually previously, which allowed him space to take point 2. Could he play safer this time though?
He's looking for Undyne. He saw those orbs come flying through, just ignoring the hits from the D.Va on the high ground at the moment.
Yep.
Tries to get that shot there.
Free push here. Scary.
Can't do it. Decent body shots in onto Bianca. He's gonna go low, over out and around from the back. Recall the last second there from Yaki, takes himself out to safety. Ooh. As he comes over the top, misses that hit. And Oberon's gonna be brought back in by the res.
Missing so many shots is Bazzi. He criticized these shots, that's for sure. He's having an off night here.
Yeah,
getting killed would cost them perhaps this map.
It's not looking good. And as you say, this is just to tie it up. This is still 1-1 versus MVP Space. If you guys are joining us late, they weren't able to get the first one. Now they stick in. Transcendence is there for Revenge Tower, so he will stay alive. But one fact was able to take down Evo, and now Bazzi is out of the fight. OT ticking through. They have to keep this cart moving. It's still 23 meters away. Blade comes in from Tuba. Finds the kill there onto one fact. Bianca taken down by the self-destruct, but Seven cannot leave this cart. Res comes down from Fuse, brings one back straight back into the fight, and Undyne pops the Transcendence as they take the fight to Seven. Free has been eliminated. Evo down to half HP with the Primal Rage. Has to stay in on top of the cart. Yaki's got another pulse bomb ready to go. Down barrier in, throws it, finds the stick. Mika gonna go low, but doesn't die yet. Yaki with healing out for Revenge, helps keep him in the fight. One fact finds the pick there on the Tuba. Evo goes down, MVP Space. They've done it, they stop it, and now they're looking at a 2-0 lead in this series over Seven.
Very impressive attack there, the quad tank. So well executed. Free both times shut down the point A defense. The first time killing the soldier, the Ana there with that dive. Second time collapsing upon the Ana there on the left side where they went up the staircase, maximizing the damage that the missiles would do. You mentioned this once before, Seth, but I do want to mention once more to the, you mentioned this once earlier, but I want to mention to the new, or the people joining it late, falling apart here, guys. The patch that came out today with the Reaper campaign and all that stuff, the Reaper buff, the May buff, and the D.Va nerf are not live. This is still on the patch before Sombra gets the 2-second interrupt. So just wanted to put that out there so no one freaks out about the D.Va nerf. It's still free doing so much damage. But the attack there was so well played by MVP Space. Bazzi is about to close the stats screen there, and our staff is like, no. We are going to put this on TV. You actually did get out-widowed by one fact.
We need to see this. And I mean, honestly, I like the way that MVP played against that Widowmaker, because not only was it just OnePack actually stepping up, looking like you know, an S tier, close to an S tier, we'll call him an A tier Widowmaker there in that game. Bazzi got dragged down because of the constant harass coming through. You think of Widowmaker, what's the first thing you think about when you're trying to play against her? You think about harass. Yeah. You got to focus on harass, otherwise that Widowmaker is just going to rip you apart.
Yeah, the focus there from MVP Space, their Widow play was not as strong as Bazzi's. I will not say the aim, although at the end, like we do have to say like Bazzi's aim there at the end was a little bit off and actually might have ended up costing him the map, but his greed on the defensive point B that cost him the duel against OneFact ended up just being so much space for MVP to work with, no pun intended there. And MVP had the better aggression from that point on, constantly de-syncing the tank's respawns, never allowing Bazzi to do anything out of spawn. And I think the switch was just required there for 7. They didn't do it. MVP Space brings them to an overtime round where they just outperform using the quad tank.
Well, crazy stuff here from MVP Space, finding the 2-0 upset so far in this series. We're going to go to a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll see if they can actually close this one out and truly upset 7 in this David versus Goliath story.